Yo, what up, boys? Today I'm gonna be showing y'all how I mix my vocals, what mic, what interface to get, tips on mixing, pretty much just any sauce I can give y'all to start out mixing your vocals and recording your vocals. I appreciate y'all for showing up. Let's get into it.
One call and my brother's pulling apparatus. 2-5 in the booth and I'm making lettuce. If you the plug, then I'm the one that they plug in the Teslas. We're sipping more, we're sipping faster, and my weed is better.
Alright, first I want to talk about interface and mic. Before you mix any vocals, you need to make sure these two things are set up. It's very important to have a good mic. It doesn't have to be an amazing mic. It just has to be something that gets the job done. This mic, my mom got me for my 14th birthday. It was $100, you know, and I've had that ever since. I still use it today, the same exact mic. If you are just starting out doing vocals, or you have a Blue Yeti or a Blue Snowball, or you're using earbuds on BandLab or something, then I highly recommend get the Audio-Technica 2020. It's the same mic I have. I've had it for 5 years-ish. In terms of interface, do not buy the Scarlett. There are way better options. I highly recommend just looking up best interface for new vocalists, finding one that you like in your price range, and getting that one. Personally, I recommend the Behringer UMC 204 HD. I'll put that on the screen right there. But it's the interface I have. It works amazing with the AT2020 and I highly recommend it. But before you even try to learn mixing, make sure you have a mic that is capable of being mixed. If you have a terrible mic, it's kind of like no point in trying to learn to mix because the mic is unmixable. Alright, so this is the example track I'm going to use to show y'all how I mix my vocals. I'm going to show y'all what it sounds like with just Autotune, then we'll go into the actual meat of the mix.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. All you know is violence. I'm wasting my time.
Alright, before we get into the mixing, I just want to say that I've been teaching myself to mix for at least 3 years now. And it will take you a long time to get good at mixing. Still, even after 3 years, I'm not as good as I could be. You know, and that's okay. It's a process. It's learning. As long as you have fun with it, keep trying to improve yourself, then you will get there. I promise you. Alright, let's get into it. First thing, obviously Autotune. You're always going to want to have Autotune unless you have perfect pitch. One thing that I want to say about Autotune, Autotune doesn't make you sing perfect. If you sing out of key, Autotune will not put those vocals in key. If you sing slightly out of key, then Autotune will put those vocals into key. A lot of people think that they can sing in a completely different key. If the song is in C# minor, they can sing in F minor and the vocals will somehow be pushed into C# minor. That's not how it works. Next tip I want to give y'all is retune and humanize. This is kind of a disputed thing between artists. I personally think you should never go below 10 and 10. In my experience, I've known vocalists who have been doing vocals for 2 years, and the entire time they've been at 0 retune, 0 humanize. And they're so confused because they say, I can't sing. Why can't I sing? I've been doing vocals for 2 years and I still haven't gotten better at singing. And it's because they're letting the Autotune do all the work for them. They're not working for it. If you put your retune and humanize at least 10 every song, it's gonna be bad at the beginning, but in a couple months you'll be like, I'm so happy Charlie told me to do that because I've learned to sing now. If you listen to my old music, I was terrible at singing, but now after years of having 10 retune and 10 humanize, it's gotten me better at singing and it's slowly improved it. Next is input type. I have a naturally deeper voice, so I go low male. If you have sort of a normal pitch voice, I would go alto tenor, and if you have sort of a naturally high pitch voice, I would go soprano. It does make a difference. I promise you it makes a difference. So first thing, the 2 EQs. You really never need more than 3 EQs on a mix. If you have more than 3 EQs on a mix, then you're not doing what you should be doing with your normal EQs, or you just have a terrible mic and you're trying anything to get rid of the bad sounds. So my first EQ, as first up, is the low band. You're obviously going to want a low pass because the bass sits in 0 to around 150-ish, really around like 100. You don't want anything in the vocal sitting from 0 to like 150 hertz because that's where the 808 and the bass is going to sit. And if those clash, it just sounds terrible. So you're going to go over here on the right to the bars on the EQ, and you're going to take this one dot and you're going to drag it down to the 4 open dots. Then you're going to go to the diamond that's above the dots and you're going to drag it down 3 times. I usually set it around 145. As you can see, I have it at 145 now. It's very important to remember that the vocal mix sits in the high mids to highs. Next, you're going to see these dips, these kind of little drop downs. These are called vocal sweeps or EQ sweeps. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the mix, and right now this and Autotune are the only things activated. So 4 and 5 are reset. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the vocals without the beat. I'm going to bring these up. I'm going to scroll all the way down on them, bring them up to the top, and we're gonna look for ringing noises. Every mic has bad frequencies in them, and all you're trying to do is find them and get rid of them. Headphone warning, this is gonna be quite annoying and loud, but it's a part of the process. So let's play the vocals and let's try to find the ringing noises.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. All you know is violence. I'm wasting my...
So right there, as you heard, there was a bad ringing noise, and there's ringing noises everywhere if you really look hard enough. All I did was I took it down to around 4-ish decibels. You never really want to go below like 5 or 6, because then it starts to take body out of the vocals, and you don't want that. Body is what you want. You want your vocals to be present. I'm gonna do the same with the 5 real quick.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. All you know is violence. I'm wasting my time. No.
So there you saw I was going left to right, and I was moving it barely, trying to find where the most amount of ringing is. Again, like I said, you could find ringing everywhere, but you want to find where the most amount of ringing is. And that's what I did with the 5 right there. Now, these are 2 bad frequencies that you'll hear a lot less when you're listening to the vocals. Next is the secondary EQ. This is purely for minor sweeps. It's kind of the same thing we were doing before, but a lot less. All I'm doing is I'm bringing the knobs up to the very top. I'm scrolling all the way down so they tighten up, and I'm looking for bad frequencies. I do that with all of them except for the 1 and 7, and I look for bad frequencies within the mix. I find them and I put all of these down 1.5 decibels, just so the vocals don't lose body. You don't want to go down as much as the other ones. And if you're more curious on how to do EQs, I highly recommend watching YouTube tutorials about it. They will teach you stuff that you will think you were dumb to not know. All right, next up we have compression. Compression is very important, but it's very mic dependent. These compression settings might not work for your mic, but they work for the AT20. They work wonderfully, and I highly recommend watching YouTube tutorials to find out how to compress your mic, how much compression you should be applying. All right, next is noise gate. So you're gonna want to open a fruity limiter, and on the very right there's gonna be this noise gate thing. It's gonna start out with gain at 100, but you're gonna want to put the gain to 0. The threshold is how loud the vocals will be cut out. Right now it's cutting out any vocal that is below minus 26.7 decibels. So if there's ever a breath or a little like sniffle that is below that, it will cut it out and you will not hear it. Next is ceiling. I use ceiling sort of as a form of compression, which I'm gonna show this when I'm done with the mix, because there's a limiter on my master as well. I'm gonna show you all what it does. It's pretty much a form of like natural compression in a way, where you're taking the peaks of your vocals. You know, you see all these peaks right here, this peak and this peak and this peak right here. It sort of just squishes it down, you know? So it's like if the range of the vocals was this, it just makes it this. All right, next is my favorite, sound goodizer. You know, I usually put 10 sound goodizers on the master. I didn't do that. I don't know why. I usually do 10 sound goodizers, but it's whatever. On my main mix, I just have a sound goodizer with a little bit of A. You kind of want to go through the different letters and find out which one is best for your mix and your style. For me personally, A is the best. You never want to have too much on the sound goodizer. It can make your mix sound super muddy and super artificial and just not clean. It won't sound studio. Next is a de-esser. I use FabFilter DS, but you can use Maximus. But all this does is it gets the gets those sounds and not mutes them, but makes them a lot quieter. All right, next is this super slight distortion. So this kind of gives a little more crisp, airy to my vocals. It's a very, very small effect, and it's really just flavoring. It's pretty much just the pre turned all the way down and the threshold turned all the way down, and the post obviously turned down a good amount. I have it right now in the mixer at like quarter volume. It's really just like a small distortion / crispness effect. All right, next, this is by far one of the most important components of my mix. It is a dynamic compressor called C6. It's a Waves plugin. I highly recommend getting it. This is what makes my mix go from 0 to 100. So I'm gonna play you the mix without C6 and then with C6.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying.
For anyone who has the ear for mixing, I'm sure you could hear the difference. It makes it sound so much more studio. The lows are compressed so much better and sound so much more crisp. And the whole vocals overall just sound so much better with it on. All right, finally on the main mix is reverb. I mean, in terms of reverb, I honestly don't use it that much. I usually like my vocals dry and more crispy unless I'm doing like an anthemic sort of majestic singing song, you know, unless it's a melodic, like big sounding singing song, then I usually don't do reverb. I personally like my vocals more dry and crisp. I think it has more punch to it, especially when I'm doing rap songs. It just makes it sound so much more punchy. But if you're interested in doing reverb, these are some decent settings just as a sort of baseline, and this is on the mix as well. You know, if I ever want reverb, it's there to turn on. That's everything for the main mix. Next, I have a route that I'm going to show y'all. It's pretty much just EQ, compression, noise gate, de-esser, more compression, and then like a little bit of flavoring. You know, it's very simple, and you really don't need to be doing that much. But let's go to the route. All right, real quick, I'm going to play y'all what the vocals sound like without the route on, and I'm going to show y'all the difference.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying.
All right, so really all this route is doing is increasing the saturation of highs and also another ceiling on the limiter. I have FabFilter Saturn 2, which is a distortion plugin. This is an amazing plugin. The setting I use on my route is color and then the tube. This is an amazing preset that has really helped my highs just become so much more crisp in studio. It has helped me a lot. I think it could help you. Another preset that's really good on here is Saturate and Color O. This preset I used to use as my route. A lot of the times I use it on harmonies or dub layers. It brings so much crispy air in the highs. You know, it makes it so crisp. That's another great preset on here, but this plugin overall is just amazing. All right, next we have a Fresh Air. Fresh Air is a free plugin. I only have 5 high air on it. It's just a tiny bit of high increase on it, just because, again, the vocals sit in the mid to high range. You want to make sure that your high end is prioritized, and then your mids, and then the lows. So just a little bit of increase in the highs. Lastly, we have another fruity limiter with another ceiling. So let me show you what it actually does. So I'm going to play the vocals, and you're going to see the waveform of the vocal be cut off. What I was saying before was the fruity limiter without the ceiling, it's like this, and then with the ceiling, it's like this. You know, it just squeezes down the vocals and cuts out the peaks.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying. Oh girl, you know I'm trying.
So without the limiter, it makes a lot of the vocals that are quiet really sound a lot different than the vocals that are loud, which to a certain extent you want that sonically, but not in terms of volume. You don't want the super loud parts to be way louder than the other parts. You know, you want every part of the vocal to sort of share the same space, and without the ceiling, they can't really do that. So this is with the ceiling.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. All you know is violence.
So now the vocals are kind of like in the same space. You know, there's none that are like a lot louder than others, and there's none that are a lot quieter than others. They're all kind of at the same level. So back to the route mix, this is just another ceiling that I put on it to get almost all of the peaks out. So it's a lot less peaking than it was before the first limiter, but there are still small little peaks that escape, and those are what you want to get out with this limiter. All right, fellas, now that we're done with the whole mix, I'm going to show y'all what it sounds like raw, and then I'm going to show y'all what it sounds like completed, and then we'll wrap up the video.
Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. All you know is violence. I'm wasting my time. No, can't you call me back? Looking for love, I can't find a way sad. No, many plans, but it's all I have. And the falling, guess I'm back and stuck. Oh girl, you know I'm trying, and you're always lying. All you know is violence. I'm wasting my time. No, can't you call me back? Looking for love, I can't find a way sad. No, many plans, but it's all I have. And the falling, guess I'm back and stuck.
All right, boys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I appreciate y'all watching. If y'all want more videos, let me know. I don't really know what to do, and this was honestly kind of weird to record, but if y'all want it, I got you. Also, I'll be streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/shoutoutcharlie. I don't have a schedule or anything, but I go live pretty often, so go check it out. Also, join the Discord down below. We got a beats channel. We got people that can help you with your mixing. We got people that can give you feedback on your mixing and beats. Lastly, I'm gonna be selling this preset and a stock version of the preset on the Underdog store. Go to underdogs.000, and by the time this video is out, the preset will be out, so go cop it. I'm gonna include a normal version of how my actual mix is, the exact file, and a stock FL version. So even if you have no custom plugins, I'm gonna be including a stock version. Now the stock version, it's not gonna sound exactly and as perfect as the actual mix does, but it will get the job done, and it'll replicate what my vocals sound like. Go check it out. I appreciate y'all for watching. Go follow the Twitch, join the Discord. Thank y'all so much. I'll see you on the next one.
You know I'm trying, and you're always lying. All you know is violence. I'm wasting my time. No, can't you call me back? Looking for love, I can't find out where it's at. No, many plans, but it's all I have. And then finally guess I'm back and stuck. Back to my ways. Too many blinds, 3 girls to face up.
Underdogs.